This is the Intellijel Shapeshifter. Yes! Shapeshifter is what happens when you give a university professor free rein to create a device which can pretty much pull apart and mangle wavetables, a complex set of wavetables, in almost any way that you can possibly imagine, to combine two oscillators together to create new tones. An unfathomably deep VCO that has FM, that also has chords, and can be animated so that it can make beautiful sounds as well as terrifying ones. Now, in this video, I'm not going to go and tell you quite exactly what I'm doing and explain the panel as I go. Instead, I've actually made a separate video where I do those things. So please watch that video. I don't go fully into the menus at all, and probably won't in any of these videos, because that is a job for the manual. In a nutshell, it's an extremely deep and complex dual wavetable VCO that has FM built in, that has loads and loads of wavetables, that lets you play the wavetables in a huge variety of different ways and really combine both of those oscillators in crazy, interesting ways. We can literally intermix and intermangle them, smash them together and create new waveforms from the results. We also have an analog wave folder section, which is able to be used completely independently. There are other nice things inside as well, like a chord mode, like the ability to make the VCOs go so slow that they become LFOs. We can also sync them in a variety of different ways. We can use external voltages to push and pull around the various settings in the menus here. And we can also save presets, and we can step through the presets using gates. And we can also morph from the panel setting to the preset setting and kind of take advantage of the memory and do interesting timbral kind of variations using that. But holy God, when you get into the thing of combining waveforms whilst also modulating the wavetables, whilst also using chords, whilst also using FM, whilst also pushing and pulling with all of these CV inputs with their attenuators, whilst also tapping the multiple outputs and using external voltages to address the oscillators independently, you can just push and pull it around and just, my God, make a stupid amount of sounds. It's like a lifetime's worth of experimentation in sound design in one tiny little module made by a very, very clever man. So, a button on your head. The shapeshifter is able to make extremely complex tones. It's a source of endless inspiration and tone generation. But one of the cool things that you can do once you've actually created tones is blend in real time between a saved tone, a preset that you have created, and the state of the panel, what's currently in the sort of live sort of memory as such. So let's play with that. What I will do is morph between a sound that it is on the panel and the sound that is in the preset memory. And in doing so, we can kind of create these strange evocative things. It's best to just play. So let's do that. So it's in percussion mode, so it's generating the sort of envelope and everything. All I'm doing is feeding it a sequence from the Metropolis, and then I can morph between the panel to a preset. Wow. Yes, indeed. Perhaps we'll put a little echophone. Preset I'm morphing to. Those two go together well. Is randomness from the envelope out to the 4MS SMR. So we can just animate the moving of shape whilst we're doing this as well. I should say that this sound is a blend of output 1 and the fold. That's fold. The fold has just got a wonderful woody vibe with this particular tone. It really jives. It sort of like does a little backflip. Can leave it in between the two. Yeah. Yes. that is the preset. But the mid-range, because it's a morph, it's not a fade between the two. It does stupid shit where it's pulled the settings between the two. It's not a fade, it's a morph. Then the morph can become a completely new preset. That is many shades of fucking cool. So that's a blend of all of the outputs, well, the two oscillator outputs plus the fold here, doing that. Because the fold output doesn't do anything when it doesn't output any sound when it's at the bottom. You have to have it up to blend sound. So the Metropolis is flip-flopping from the panel to the preset, like that. Ace. Now, there is one thing that I didn't mention that this does, and that is that it is a vocoder. It means I can put in my own voice and I can modulate it using all of the very, very mad and interesting ways that this thing can make tones. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to plug the microphone that I'm currently using to talk to you into this module. Hello. 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 Hi. You can hear the line going through the modulator. It's a 64-band vocoder with a very nice trick that, of course, inside the shapeshifter there are so many ways of making different tones that as a source of tones to be vocoded by, it is extremely rich. Greetings, human. In this way, I use the envelope void output to control the shape so that my voice is sweeping the shape as well as being vocoded. It's pretty weird. Step 1, 2. Step 1, 2. Yay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's a new sound sheet. Now, with the keyboard connected Another little feature of its considerably deep bag of tricks is that the Shapeshifter also contains a delay. Turn up the echo amount like that. Turn up the echo amount like that. Turn up the echo amount like that. This is neat because there's actually a very long delay, like many seconds built into this thing, but it can go very, very fast. We can have very short delay times. The way that you adjust delay times is that you adjust the speed of oscillator 2. So by speeding up oscillator 2, I speed up the delay. And by increasing the echo amount, that is effectively feedback. Feedback. It allows us very quickly to go from undelayed to delay. So if I adjust the speed of oscillator 2, yeah, like that. High. One nice trick is if you set the delay time so that it's just doing a constant on sort of repeat, like that. By automating that parameter, mod B, you can get a kind of hold, like this. Get a pseudo sort of time stretch thing going on. Weird. All right. So another extremely cool processing thing that you can do, which turns the Shapeshifter into really kind of a crazy effects box, is not just the use of the delay on external signals. You can also process external signals in place of oscillator 1. Do all of the mad combination wave combining things that this thing can do on an external signal. For example, ring modding and shredding it against oscillator 2. So let's try that. We get this to work, by the way, by putting mod A, so that mod A is set to combo 1. And then we can just freak around. Holy shit. Wow. So that's ring modding a vocal tone against the beat. So I'm going to multibeat and stick it through my A119 so I get my envelope follow. That is a valuable signal, and I'm going to use that to do some modulation. Yeah. Wow. Ah. Wavefolded. So, I'm tapping the fold output as well as output 1, and my god, does that sound fucking great! Yes! Boom. Oh my god. Adding some earthwork and echophone. Whoa! Holy fuck. That sounds good. So let's modulate the shape with our envelope follower. Yes. I didn't hit it that hard. Must have had a self-destruct mechanism. Oh my god. Adding in the folded signal. Breakdown time. I don't know why it was doing a lot of the things it was just doing there, but I like it. Because the shapeshifter is, by its nature, able to make extremely complex waveforms, it is also, therefore, able to make extremely complex and interesting LFOs. In fact, both of the oscillators can be run at LFO rates. You do this by just toggling on the LFO buttons for 1, 2, or both. There are, in fact, some wavetables in the wavetable banks designed to work as LFOs. Really, all of the wavetables can work as LFOs, but obviously they are designed for audio applications. The LFO shapes are a little bit different and are just designed to give you interesting shapes to work with. If you refer to the manual, it will show you what they are. Here's the output of oscillator 1. Oh, and the wave folder. Hi. So, we're actually listening to LFO Bank 12 at audio rates. It actually sounds totally sweet. What I will do is, because I like that sound, use oscillator 2 in LFO mode to output a LFO that I will use to modulate that shape control. Of course, we can self-patch this thing. So, you do this by plugging it in and turning this up. Happy days. And of course, we can FM modulate. So this is using oscillator 2 to modulate the pitch of oscillator 1. Wicked. So in this way, you could use oscillator 1 as your audio source, and then you could use oscillator 2 as your complex modulation source. Now, one tip is if you were externally pitching this thing, as in if you were sending in voltages like a sequencer into oscillator 1, they are by default normal to oscillator 2. What you can do to stop that is break the connection by plugging in a jack cable, but not actually connecting it to anything. It will just break the normaling so that you're free to run LFO, or oscillator 2, the LFO in this case, at a constant rate of your deciding. They're funky, these shapes. Nice. Now, we can still use multi-mode, which is what we're going to use in order to access more of the wavetable at once. So if I go to the multi of oscillator 2, it'll widen the available wave shape. So you get these bigger shapes. Nice. So I'm going to use my LFO and I'm going to send it both to the shape control, because that sounds sweet, and also to the fold CV control, because that sounded sweet too. Ace. Okay, now, there is something else that we can do here. There's many other things, but one thing is changing combo mode. If I change the combo mode to ring modulator, then effectively the LFO will act as a kind of weird VCA on the oscillator 1, which is what we're hearing. So, hang on. Back to this. Ring mod. Because a slow ring mod is basically a VCA. So I'm basically using the Intellijel Shapeshifter all by itself, just spitting out little kind of rhythms and musical phrases. Tune. Jesus Christ. So this is using the AND combination mode. Syncing. Fuck me. I'm not sure why it was doing that just then. But let that serve as an excellent example of the extremely strange places that this thing can go. If you do spend enough time with it, it's nuts. You're like, oh my God, what have I done? How will I ever get that back? I won't. Hit record. I feel like it's asking me a question. Yeah? Yeah. Mate, is that alright, mate? Meow. Cats. It all comes back to cats. Eventually. Especially with modular synths. Yes. Wow. Come back, cat. Come on. It's coming back. You just wait. Come on, cat. Come on. I think Ben Burt would have a lot of fun with this. Fuck me backwards with a brush. One excellent thing that we can do is using chord mode, use it to create absolutely completely crazy unison sounds. Wow. And then, using Mod D, turning it on like this, we can then modulate that effect. So, let's use the second oscillator as an LFO and modulate that shape parameter. Finally, we have step mode, which is where you can put the machine into preset mode and skip through the presets instantly using a trigger source. So I have the output of a Metropolis advancing the presets of the machine. You have different modes: forward, reverse, forward and reverse, random, and you can set the start and end point of the various preset banks. You can set divider so that it will have to play 2 notes before skipping on to the next preset. To make it work, you have to click on type of movement and then push the button again. So it's skipping within a small range. Sweet. Ace. So that is a brief overview of some cool shit that you can do with the Cylonics Intellijel Shapeshifter. I don't think that I have even begun to scratch the surface of the capability of this module, because there are just so many ways that you can simultaneously smash everything together and combine it to make a new waveform. It's like a sort of laboratory where someone thought, what are all of the things I could ever possibly want to do to a wavetable? Let's put them all in one module and let's make that possible so that a person can sit with this in their case and just experiment and really never make the same sound twice. I find the Shapeshifter an extremely hard module to quantify because it's incredibly powerful. So if you get a Shapeshifter, I would encourage you to not be disheartened by the documentation and to persevere with it. It does have a learning curve. There's no getting around the fact that given the amount of combo modes, the funny naming conventions for certain things that are inside this module, it will take a while, because the problem with the manual is that it really does require that you have read every single sentence several times, or you miss some incredibly important throwaway sentence that actually explains, oh hell, if I need to push that for that to work. Things like this that are not spelled out, I think, as clearly as they could be. So I hope and trust and pray that you'll persevere with it, because it is actually a fucking amazing module, and it is capable of just unbelievable range, stupid amounts of tone generation. I think in its defense of the confusion that I have experienced trying to learn this thing, I have also had so many pleasant surprises that I've had from just trying things, turning things, seeing what happens, finding funny sweet spots. You know, on the Shapeshifter, there are certain sweet spots where the entire machine will just freak out and start creating some entire sequence. And I think that those moments make confusion almost a good thing. It's a pleasant thing to be surprised by a module, and there's a lot of ways that you can be surprised by this, that is for sure. So I hope you'll check one out. Persevere with it. It's got a learning curve, but that's because it does a lot. So check it out. Thanks.
And now a word from our sponsors.
If you enjoyed today's episode, please consider sponsoring me on Patreon. Patreon is a wonderful website where you can contribute monthly to content. But I massively appreciate it. It supports me and it allows me to justify the time it takes to do these videos and to give you bonuses as well. Even if you only sponsor me $1, if lots of you did that, that would be fucking amazing. Thank you. Cheers, bye.